Very good afternoon to all of you. I, Dr. Sanjib Pattnaik, I welcome you all to this particular session of our paper called as Total Quality Management. This has been coded as MMPC-019 in your course. We are already looking at the strategic aspects of adapting quality in the organization. We are into block 2, which focuses mainly on strategic perspectives, and here we shall look at the quality centered strategic planning in this particular unit 6. Now already we have known the strategic planning and the quality management in the previous sessions. How quality management has revolutionized the industry or the business world, and the management of the executives now focus on the quality management while planning their future strategies. So keeping the quality at center, how organizations carry forward their strategic planning. That is what we shall be discussing today. Now, in order to acquaint that with quality centered strategic planning, what we understand up till now? Now, quality management and business strategy have to work in tandem so that the organization can be, we can say, produce the products adaptable enough in the marketplace. When we are talking of quality management, then we are talking of the quality aspect of the business, and since quality management is driven by customers and the organization strives hard for achieving the customer's requirement, so the business strategy of the organization has to be in tandem with quality management. Now, in this cutthroat competitive business scenario of today, quality has emerged as a strategic competitive tool. Unless and until an organization keeps in its hand the quality aspect, and that quality is focused towards the customer's requirements, then many an organization have been wiped off. So in order to sustain, in order to exist in this competitive world in the long run, so we have to adapt quality as a strategic competitive tool. We can say that it is the best practices of an organization that help to survive and sustain in this competitive world. Now, what are the best practices? Immediately the thing that comes at this juncture or at this point of time, it is meeting the customer's requirement. Not only that, we have to surpass the or go beyond the customer requirements. Thereby, we can also beat the competition. So the best practices involve or are centered around the quality. Earlier, in the past years, the focus of an organization was only on manufacturing processes. That means when we talked about quality in the earlier years, organization believed that quality should be adopted in the manufacturing processes only. The conversion process will be converting the inputs into outputs. There only we have to adopt the quality. But no, what has happened today? It is not only the manufacturing process. Quality has now become all pervasive. In other words, we can say that every aspect of the organization, beginning from determining the customer's requirement, producing the product, and delivering the product to the customers, we can say at every juncture, every stage, quality is adopted, or you have to take quality into account. So, quality should be integrated with strategy formulation and planning. Every organization strives to run its business over a long period of time. That means they do not want to be wiped up of the market. So, how can we do that? When we are talking of the strategy that we have to adapt so as we have a perennial existence, now through integration of quality into the strategy formulation, and accordingly we should plan our course of activities. Quality must strive to achieve customer delight. Here we say that quality is focused towards achieving the customer requirements. No, things have changed. Whatever the customer is requiring, that we have to fulfill on the quality front. Not only that, we should provide more features, more value to the customers so that we can say that the customer is delighted. So whenever the requirement customer is fulfilled and the features provided by the product using the all pervasive quality aspect is beyond or higher than the requirement of the customer, we say that the customer is delighted. So in this present juncture, we say that yes, quality has become the epicenter for existence of an organization. They strive to achieve the organization's strategy, the focus in the long run by adopting quality at every stage. So we say quality is all pervasive. That means it is around all the things. Now let us see how quality can be improved. What should be the role of the top management? Here we can say the father of quality movement, that is Dr. W. E. Deming. He is regarded as the father of quality movement. He advocated that 85% of all defects are caused by faulty management system. So the top management is responsible for 85% of all the defects. That means the way the top management is performing or moving ahead or thinking ahead, the defects lie mostly with them. What about the remaining 15%? Now it is due to the employees only. So here we can say that the quality, the improvement in quality should be targeted towards the top management. Because if we can do that, we can reduce most of the defects. So when defects are reduced, in other way we can say value of the item goes up, or in other words, we are able to match the customers' standards and get them delighted. Deming has called for elimination of numerical quota. Earlier, what was happening? Now, every worker in the production line, thinking of a production line, or maybe at the service desk, they were assigned that you have to complete this many tasks. Suppose a worker is assigned 30 tasks to be completed in a shift of 8 hours. But the worker finds it difficult to keep pace with that. In his mind, the thing plays around that I may not be able to achieve what is required out of me in the today's shift. So what the worker will try to do? They will try to work faster without keeping the required focus, thereby producing an item which is of very less quality. Now, this brings about the reduction in quality level for the organization as a whole. So Deming has said, let us do away with numerical quota. Let the worker learn. Let the worker be clear about the quality aspects. Be clear about the task they have to perform, keeping abreast with the quality front. So here we say, don't put numerical quota, or it is according to Deming, but ask them that their work should be qualitative. Now, what are the things mainly considered in quality improvement, or how top management can do that? Now, first, establish a quality concept and the quality policies. The top management should visualize the quality concept and should lay down the policies or the guidelines in order that the required quality is maintained on the strategic planning front. That means when we are looking strategically for an organization's future, then we say the quality concept and policies should be very clear, which has to be laid down by the top management. Secondly, serve on the quality council. Now, what is that quality council? Nowadays, we find organizations which have grown very big. organizations are now having multiple divisions or functional areas. Each of the division or each of the functional area will be headed by the departmental head. The top management will be communicating with these departmental heads. These departmental heads form the quality council. Whatever are the policies or the concept of quality which has been visioned by the top management should be served on the quality council, or they should be assigned to the divisional managers or the functional heads. They should be made clear about what to do, what not to do, so that the quality of the organization will be achieved. Third thing is establish and deploy quality goals. Now we have to keep some goals, the targets. So the top management should put in certain targets and they should be delegated. The target should be deployed to the divisional heads or the functional managers. Now this will help the quality council, which is formed by either the divisional managers or the functional heads, to know exactly what is required by their own department or the own functional area. So they will get a clear-cut message. We should provide the quality councils or the workers or the departments or the functional areas with proper resources. Unless until we provide proper resources, be it materials, be it human resources, be it capital, etc., etc., whatever is required in order to achieve the strategic planning of the organization centered around quality should be provided. Now, each team should be provided with the quality training. Provide team-oriented training. That means we have different functional areas or different divisions. They will be differing from each other. So according to their own characteristics, own functionality, they should be given proper training. We cannot say that training for one division is same as training for other divisions also. Similar is the case of the functional units. So you have to keep the team-oriented training. We should, as the top management, review the progress. What were the assigned goals? What actually, how the targets are progressing in actual terms? Those should be monitored or reviewed at regular intervals. Now, in order to motivate the workers or the quality council, etc., the top management should provide recognition and should come up with reward system. Because this recognition and reward system, those who will be getting, they are delighted, but that acts as a stimuli for others in the organization to work in a better manner so that they can also get the recognition and the rewards. Now let us look at the SQM, the Strategic Quality Management. Now this has been uh, uh, advocated by Garvin in the United States of America, but it has been adopted by enterprises organization in the globalized business world. He said about four things: inspection, statistical quality control, quality assurance, and finally strategic quality management. When we talk about inspection, we check out whether there are any defects in the items that have been produced. Statistical quality control, we set some standards. Now when the actual operations are going on, we compare the actual processing, actual inputs or the actual outputs that is coming out with the standards that have been set up. Here, the field of statistics comes up with a number of tools which help us to decide whether quality control or quality is under control is out of control. Here we can think of, suppose there are two things in the world. One is variables, that means things that can be measured, like dimension of the computer in front of us. We can measure it in numerical terms exactly. Similarly, we also have attributes. Like, suppose I say, what is the climatic condition today? It will differ from individual to individual. So accordingly, we go for this quality control charts. The quality control charts for variables as well as attributes. Not only that, we go also for acceptance sampling. That means using the technique of sampling, whether we shall accept a whole lot or we shall reject the whole lot. That we can test. Third thing is quality assurance. When we are meeting the quality, we are sending out a message to the customer that yes, the product is as per the standards that has been set up. All these three, inspection, statistical quality control and quality assurance, were mainly focused towards the processing line, or you can say the conversion system. But today, apart from these three, the aspect of quality has entered into all the spheres of the organization, starting from its procurement of raw material till the satisfaction of the customer. We go for strategic quality management. That means quality management in all segments, in all places of the organization for the long run. Now, what are the principles of statistical quality management? First is the proactive culture towards defects. If defects are there or are occurring, should we overlook it? The answer is no. We should see why it has been occurring and should try to take steps so that they can be eliminated. So we should take a proactive culture towards any kind of defects happening at any point of the organization. The approach that we should follow is either top-down model or bottom-up approach. When we are talking about top-down approach, that means the top management decides on the quality policy and passes it on to the quality council, who in turn pass it on to the employees who are working in the floor levels. That means the person who actually do the work. So from the top or the top management, it trickles down towards the lower level management. Similarly, many things may not be realized by top management that this could happen. These only happen when the actual thing is taking place or the implementation of the conversion is taking place in the organization. The persons who have the first-hand chance to know this are the workers or the lower level executives. They should provide information on this towards the top management so that this sort of thing can be taken care of and defects which are not realized by top management are also taken care of. The third principle of statistical quality management is responsibility for quality. Now, when we are talking of responsibility, there are two ways. The first is, let us assign responsibility to certain employees that you have to achieve this. That achievement should be based on the quality. So thereby, what happens? The person on whom the responsibility has been loaded up, maybe forcefully by the higher authorities, they feel it as a burden, which ultimately leads to the worker or the lower level executive or the person made responsible for the quality not so, we can say, enthusiastic towards doing the task, because they presume that it is a burden on them. Instead of that, statistical quality management says that why to assign responsibility? Create such a kind of environment in the organization that may allow the employees, the workers, the executives to come forward themselves and pick up or get or ready to undertake the assignment by their own. That means we motivate the workers that You have to be responsible when you are finding it comfortable to do that. If we force it, it becomes a burden. That doesn't have a good result on the organization. But if we allow employees to take up the responsibility by their own, that stimulates them and it brings about very good results for the organization. So the responsibility for quality in the organization, according to statistical quality management, should be not assigned forcefully, but it should be undertaken by employees by their own. Fourth thing that we should look at is what is the measure? How can we measure the cost of quality? Now, before that, let us think about how the cost of quality occurs. Now, there are three categories which leads to the cost of quality. The first one is prevention, second is appraisal, third is failure. Now, when we are talking of prevention, that means we undertake such steps that the items that are being processed or are becoming outputs for the customers will not have defects. For that, whatever are the necessary steps to be undertaken, we take that and it costs us money. Then comes appraisal cost. This usually happens, appraisal cost, while the actual processing is being done, or it is seen in the conversion line. We set up a testing department or quality testing department whereby they undertake the testing of the quality of inputs, semi-finished items, the finished items. We check it either in total or in samples. Now for that, we require instruments, we require scientists, we require trained personnel, we require the gadgets, etc. So this form the appraisal cost. Then finally, the failure cost. Now this cost happens due to a defective item being in the hands of the customers. When a customer finds defective items, they will go for the warranty or the guarantee, whereby rework or exchange of the item has to be undertaken, which is a loss to the company or cost to the company. So we have to measure the cost of quality. Another principle of strategic quality management is doing the things right first time. That means whatever you are doing, whenever you are doing, do it correctly first time. So for that, you should have proper resources, proper equipments, tools, machines, properly trained human resources, so that what happens when we do the thing, it is always right the first time. So the cost of appraisal or the failure will be done away with. The strategical quality management should be spread across the whole organization. It does not only belong to a particular functional area like processing unit or the operational area, but all the areas of the organization, including the top management. What is the bottom line of the strategic quality management? Now, they should strive, or that should strive for continuous improvement. Today we have improved, our strategic quality management policy will stop. No. In this changing world, you have to keep pace with the changes, and you have to continuously improve upon, so that you can match the changing requirements of the customers for whom you are creating the goods and services. Now, what is the path, roadmap for quality planning? First of all, confirm the goals. What we want to achieve. Why should we achieve those things? How much should we achieve? When should we achieve? If we achieve that thing, what will happen next? All these things should be precisely defined, clear enough, so that no ambiguity will be there, and the goals will form the starting point of the roadmap for quality planning. The second thing that we see is connect with customers. Customers are the epicenter for whom we are existing as an organization, or are producing the items, so that customers are not only satisfied, but they should be delighted. In order that customers are satisfied, or on the higher side they are delighted, we should understand the requirements of the existing customers and also the potential customers. What will it do? What will that thing do? No. It will help us to know the needs of the customers. So the third thing is find the needs of the customers. Now, how can we know the needs of the customer? One is, we can say, suppose our sales team is there on the field, sales force, they can gather information from the field studies. We can conduct interviews with the customers. We can have surveys. We can depend upon surveys of independent agencies. We can look at what are the future expectation of the customers that will be coming in the future years from various scientific researches, etc. So we have to find the needs of the customers. Once we know the need of the customers, we develop the products. Now it is not always that whatever is the need of the customer, we can develop the products and produce them easily. We develop the products, that means the prototypes, and try to make some pilot testing. That means we focus on small groups and see the adaptability of the products and whether they are able to match the needs of the customers. Now, once the products are ready, that means the prototypes are accepted, then we think of how to produce them. It is not that the production line which was existing with us as an organization can produce the new products that have been developed directly in the same processing line. The processing line may either have to be changed completely or would be given some kind of facelifts or revamps, or some additions or deletions may be done to existing machineries on the processing line, so that we develop the process to produce the new product. Now, once product is ready, the process is ready, we move to the actual operations. We start producing the items, keeping in view the quality goals. Now, when we are looking at the roadmap, the quality planning roadmap, we have different levels of roadmaps. The first is supervisory or worker levels. That means at the lower end or at the bottom end of the quality planning are the supervisors or the workers who actually undertake the conversion process. So there, the supervisor or the workers have to be communicated clearly what they should do, what they should achieve, how they should do, what to avoid. All these things will form the supervisor or the worker level. Similarly, an organization which is big enough may be having different divisions or functional areas. So each functional area may be different from each other. Suppose the marketing area, that is the functional level, and also we have operation level. The quality planning for operations may not be same as quality planning for the marketing or the sales level. So what we have to do? Now we have to properly train the managers of the respective functional areas to adopt the quality goals by quality gurus in their respective fields, so that they can deploy the quality plans to their particular functional areas. Another aspect in an organization happens is, suppose think of a new product development. When we think of new product development, you may require materials, that means the purchase department. You may require a production line, that means the process. You may require the market, that is the sales functional area. That means for a item, now we are looking at the combination of various functional areas or systems. So whenever you are having the new product development thing, then you look for multifunctional systems or the roadmaps. Apart from that, many times projects are undertaken. What are projects? Now, big endeavors which consume very huge amount of resources in the form of the funds as well as time. For example, we can quote here nuclear power plant. For example, a, we can say Mars rover by ISRO. Think about the nuclear power plant. Not every nuclear power plant in the world are same. They are different from each other. They will be having their own specific requirements in terms of planning, setting up the process, the construction, and the implementation. So when you are having major programs, that means the projects, there also use roadmaps which are unique to that particular endeavor only. And this should be done by the experienced personnels. Everything we do is focused on fulfilling the customer's requirement or achieving customer's delight through the deployment of quality or strategic quality management in the organization. Now, how this customer orientation or the orientation of the organization is towards the customer, that we shall see. The first one is, it is the management commitment and actions which should speak regarding the fulfillment of the customer requirements or providing them with delights. The management have to be molded in such a way that their main focus is on customers orientation. Second aspect is the training and customer research. In order to know the customer's requirement, we should gather information from them. This cannot be done by each and every personnel, because not only we have to gather the information, but you have to analyze it and you have to reach certain logical conclusion what to do so as to achieve the customer's requirement. For that, you should have trained personnels. Now, once we get the customer's requirements, we should set up the benchmarks or the standards that have to be achieved. The benchmarks we are talking of should be based on the customer requirement. Next, we can say that once the benchmark have been set up, the employees should be empowered enough by the management so as to achieve the benchmarks in the best possible way, because they are the people who try to bring or put the quality into the items that are to be produced as per the customer's requirement. The employees are the best persons to know how to do that in the actual front. So they should be empowered enough to do the necessary activities. Resources, whatever is required for producing the items, should be provided. Because if the customer are requiring items produced with such kind of materials and you provide another type of material in production, then the final thing is the whole thing will go RE. You cannot achieve your goals. So you should provide resources. And not only resources, but organizations should adopt the best technology available so that they can provide the customers the technology. And we should have proper rewards and recognition for the employees, for the executives, those who are striving towards meeting the customer requirements, because it is the ultimate goal of the organization. Now, quality-centered strategic planning. When you are doing the strategic planning, we look at two things. On one hand, we have quality. On the other hand, we have the future. Or we can say perceptions. That means what is going to happen in the future. Now, this brings about 4 different types of the quality-centered strategic plans. Now let us see what are they. First is fad of the month. It is only a term given, fad of the month. It is proactive in quality but reactive to perceptions. What happens? The future, all of us know, is uncertain. Any information regarding future that is coming to the organization at this point of time, immediately the organization jumps or reacts to it. But it has to change its processes or the quality in that line also. That means it is trying to introduce one after the another the fads. That means it is trying to come up with new things, but ultimately it is becoming less effective. Why? Now the employees are confused. Once they are getting set up with certain ideas to be done, immediately you will be finding another thing has come up, cropped up. So the effectiveness reduces. The second thing is frustration. It is reactive to quality but proactive approach. That means whatever are the quality changes, immediately we change the thing. That means change wherever the quality is applied in the organization or the total organization's working culture according to quality. This does not adhere well with the future. It frustrates the workers. Third is organization which will become extinct. That means they are both reactive to quality and reactive to future. Here, organizations are trying to change them as fast as possible when they have future information and also changing their quality front also. Thereby, a chaos situation starts to engulf the organization and the organization fails or becomes extinct. One of the most needed thing is high energy, high success. That means proactive in quality as well as future. When you are looking at strategic planning process, listen to customers' requirements, needs. Once we gather information on customer needs, the planning process starts how we can meet them. Now the top management comes forward and stewards the organization towards that particular direction. And we should have the awareness about influencing forces. Now we should consider various scenarios. What are the scenarios? Will the item be successful? Will the item be a failure? Will the item be as such on an average it will catch up with the market? So you have to see the negatives and positives of the future. If there are any gaps between the customer requirements and the products, try to close them. And at any cost, we should try to achieve the objectives that has been set at the beginning to meet the customer needs. As the organization of the top management, we should always re-evaluate ourselves. If any changes are required, we should change it, and with a renewed effort, we should strive for that. Now, in this session today, we have seen quality centered strategic management. Every organization, those who are working in this present business globalized world, they are striving hard to sustain in the long run. So in order to sustain in the long run, it has been seen, it has been proven that it is quality which will carry forward them. So organization have to keep abreast with the quality, infuse it into their system and go forward. With this, we end our session today. We shall meet again. Thank you.